Yo, what up, peeps? We are now back again. I think today, this is actually episode 8 or 9 of the year. I stopped keeping track, but we have our regular faces as usual, Paula, Susan, Sean, and then today we have a newcomer joining us, Eva. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Not too bad, not too bad. And Eva, tell us a little bit about yourself. You're based right now in Hong Kong, but you were previously Canadian, Canada based.
Yeah, that's right. And thanks, Richard, for letting me be the fallback. Anyways, happy to be here. I have for basically I'm from Vancouver, worked there for over a decade in product management. Originally started as a UX designer, but a couple of years ago, I relocated to Hong Kong. Started my whole new journey here. Actually, it's my first gig in Hong Kong as well. The product is quite different, but lots of different things are happening. It's pretty exciting, but definitely a different ecosystem here. But I'm happy to talk more later on.
So like working in product management in Hong Kong.
Pardon me?
What's it like working in product management in Hong Kong versus like Canada?
It's definitely more fast-paced, but not as systematic. It's quite chaotic at times, very reactive. People just kind of hop on the next shiny thing all the time. And obviously, the culture here is a little more top-down than, say, North America, where basically they call it the working level people. Actually, the first time I kind of heard this term, when I
Gonna
heard
say
about this,
working.
like, okay, that's working level people, and there's management. But that's how they kind of have their committee. The people at the top make decisions, people on the ground do the work. But obviously, North America is different, right? You have your own vertical. The whole squad kind of have that ownership. It's quite different here, where the top management makes the decision. I mean, that happens everywhere in the world, but I think it's just more prominent in Asia. But I just kind of had my own first gig in Hong Kong, so I can only speak or so much, but it's definitely different. But I gotta say, the people here, developers, designers, they are more um, maybe the city is more commercial driven. So yeah, they actually gets the business side of things quicker. But at the same time, that takes away the craftsmanship around design and development, right?
Crazy. What's kind of like the language medium in Hong Kong for work? Because I see some of the work environment is like it's just like everybody speaking English, and then some is like hybrid, and
Uh,
obviously like some of them is like can
yeah, that really depends on the company you work at. I think right now, majority probably are locals, so they speak like Cantonese, and then maybe even Mandarin now. And they work with a lot of overseas contractors from Taiwan, Vietnam. So a lot of things might be just like in written. And Hong Kong usually have like a tech lead or project manager who can speak English, kind of being a translator. So they do a lot of that overseas. They call it the vendor shop overseas, doing all the uh, block building type of development. And the brains are in Hong Kong or even from Singapore elsewhere. And obviously, there are still more international tech companies here than they speak English. I'm sure all of you probably have been in Hong Kong at some point. People, you can get around without any problem in English, right?
what about for your team? Do you guys usually speak Cantonese or do you guys usually speak English?
Oh, we speak Cantonese. I had to like learn how to speak work language in Cantonese when I first got here. That's also something I had to adapt.
Got it. Wow, that's awesome. Okay. Well, welcome. I've been noticing that like in the last like my 10, I've been traveling all around Asia for like the last 10 months and I've been seeing like a lot of Asian people from like Canada and then also from the US, like just basically in all the different WeWorks that I've been crashing. So it's like interesting to actually meet. It still boggles me because like I thought I was the only one, but amazing enough. All right, let's get to some recent events. Anybody feeling kind of the shock waves from tariffs, trade war? Susan, you're at S&P.
Nothing yet. I mean, there's a lot of noise, but I don't really see it yet.
Sean?
Yeah, I just came back from an Apple store. My iPhone and my MacBook, they were both dying on me. So I went there and I asked a few of the people that work at the store, and they said nothing has really changed in the past few days. Like no, people aren't like running in to buy new devices before the price hike. So to kind of echo Susan's point, like Apple or some of the retailers, at least from a surface level, not seeing anything crazy, shocking, except for the stock markets.
Got it. Yeah. Really?
On Saturday, though, there was this huge protest in the city. I don't know if you saw on social media, but on like Park Avenue or Fifth Avenue, there was like so much unrest. It was like COVID times when people were protesting.
What?
Well,
I
that's
mean, it's
Wow.
with all the government layoffs and so forth, like there's a lot of unhappy people out there. Not looking good. And that's usually when people protest, when like, you know,
well, when things are not looking good.
when things are not looking good, you're not working, you have some free time.
I don't know. I think it's gonna be I don't know. I woke up and it said like 104% tariffs was slapped back on China. And I was just thinking to myself, like, well, like my parents, they do like clothing import export. They're out of China to LA, and they're like already feeling it. They've actually been feeling it since Trump got elected. Like I was with my parents and my sister and this other guy that's been at the office for like years. As soon as Trump got elected, it was like 32 like freaking text messages from like China and like other parts of the US. Like, what are we gonna go ahead and do? But they've already been anticipating like things were gonna be rocky on their end.
It's all political though. Um, South Korea, what is it, like 25% tariffs? North Korea, 0%
We don't trade with
tariffs.
North Korea. What do they
Um,
export?
Russia, 0% tariffs. It's political. Australia's like 10%.
Uh, Paula, any thoughts?
I pulled out my money a week before the tariff announcement, so I'm pretty happy about that. Took out like put up pull it out like my play money, not my conservative ones, but my play money in the stock. So took out the November one. So I'm pretty happy. Like I've only lost those 4 months because I think it's gonna go way down. Like this is not the dip at all. So
Um, I
I'm
mean,
with you.
I feel like I won from that perspective.
You're
Pretty happy.
one of the from the happy camp. I went to the
I'm
gym
like, I was like,
and
save
then
myself on this end.
I know I went to the gym. People just been talking about. You can see they on their phone red
Right?
market
Wall
crash.
Street bets and shit.
And that yeah, it was a interesting type of energy at the gym and everywhere else in the past
Yeah.
couple of weeks. But I'm
I,
curious, like, what about people at work? Do they like, especially I guess people from tech, are they affected? Other than obviously they have their investment in stocks.
we got two bona fide, fully gainfully employed people here.
Yeah, I'm starting my business here, so it's a bit different for me,
Oh,
like with product. So it's kind of interesting, but I'll let work.
okay. We'll get back,
Susan.
circle back to your business later.
Wait, what was the question? How is this affecting tech jobs?
Yeah, or people at work.
don't know. I heard JP Morgan is what are they cutting 20% of their workforce?
I don't think 20%, that's a lot. Don't they employ like 300,000 people?
I don't know. I don't
And-
know.
No, Susan, that's what I heard too. 20% from one of my friends who
Oh
work at JP
shit.
Morgan Chase.
Oh,
That's
you
the
heard
number
that
I
too?
heard. Yeah, he's
Uh,
we gathered around last week. He was like, "Hey, by the way, I found out I'm having a girl in September. I also
oh,
found that JP Morgan Chase is gonna start laying off
oh,
20%." I was like, "Good
Yeah.
luck."
Yeah.
cutthroat
Man.
over
so,
there.
um,
They've been war timing hard because my favorite my favorite rooftop bar in Hong Kong was right above the JP Morgan building, and it's like 11:45 and people are still in there hammering away.
Oh my gosh. I see that in New York as well. Like I'll be walking on what is it, like Park Avenue where there's a lot of banks, and sometimes at night you'll see like young, you could tell they're like in their early 20s, like these young guys working till 9, 10 p.m. The grind
yeah,
sucks. It
um,
sucks.
yeah. I have a friend who's been in finance for a long time and with his company for about 9 years now. He's a CFA, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm thinking about taking a sabbatical." And then last week, he's like, "Nah, cancel that. I'm gonna stay in the office." so,
Wow.
but
Yeah.
from a like a consumer electronics perspective, I know Samsung, LG, like those kind of companies, they went through like the whole tariff exercises like 8 years ago. So it's not their first time, but still they're doing you know, things here and there to kind of mitigate that risk as much as possible. Like, and I think it's all different. Like TVs come from Mexico, home appliances they already have factories in South Carolina, but I think phones coming in from Vietnam, that's I don't know. I think they might have to do something real quick.
I think overall,
I
like,
think,
yeah.
yeah.
Go ahead, Susan.
They're just gonna get clever with like smuggling the supply chain around. It's just like you're not, I don't know. It's just gonna change, but people are gonna find business people are gonna find loopholes in the system.
Yeah. I heard there's already new business idea in Hong Kong where they want to do like a secondhand electronics marketplace just for this
Mm,
opportunity. And you know, some people think it's a great idea and already doing that. But I feel like this is just more a power play. Of course, a lot of people are going to suffer from it. But then I agree with Susan. You can always find loophole. Maybe disassemble the things and ship it uh somewhere
yeah,
else and whatnot.
like Samsung is such an international company. They do have like an American factory. No, no? Or I don't know how they operate, but maybe they'll just say it's all from the American chapter, but they'll somehow smuggle it in through
Legally.
Mexico or Canada or like the country that has the lower tariffs.
Yeah.
Oh, things are about to get very interesting in the next 24 hours. I mean, like, hopefully, I'd say like the last Instagram short that I saw was that one of the countermeasures that China's going to go ahead and do, which if they do, I think it will actually people will be feeling it a lot more, is for they would just basically have because it's such a manufacturing powerhouse, they would just go ahead and completely copy all US made goods in
Yes.
China,
Right, right. Yeah,
and
yeah.
just start rebranding and just selling it 5 cents on the dollar. Like they legit could, if they wanted to, like just make a freaking iPhone that works like an iPhone. And instead of paying like a G note for that iPhone, it's like, yeah, we'll make an iPhone that looks exactly like an iPhone and we'll call it Apply and we'll sell it for $100 And since we have better like logistics, if they actually did that, then you would probably see like Tim Cook maybe have a heart attack by Friday. Because for the long,
Maybe,
yeah.
but I think there will there'll still be brand loyalty. I don't think I would buy Apple.
Yeah, we'll find out. We'll find out if you feel that way. Because they,
I wouldn't buy it, even if it's the same.
I mean,
I don't trust it.
there's actually I like having gone to China like a few times when I was living in Hong Kong, I actually got like a completely different perspective from the Chinese side, even though I was born and raised in the US, is like if you really want to talk about free market, the general misconception is that Chinese like products are not as good as like US based products, but we're already seeing that like I rode in a BYD, which I was never able to in the US. It's like if you guys really want to make that shit like fair market and open that field up completely, BYD would fucking smoke Tesla. Like
You
they
think
have a
so?
freaking I
Yeah,
Show
yeah,
Speed
yeah.
was like a freaking Chinese
Mm,
commercial for like that flying taxi is real. Like drone
yeah.
delivery is real. Like if you talk about like you think you're happy with Amazon Prime, try Alibaba. Like that shit. If they wanted to just make it like completely fair, um, we saw that with like my team. I was up until 2 a.m. and my team and I here in Korea, we're playing with Manus. I was like, holy shit. Manus makes freaking ChatGPT look amateur, yo.
Really? Why?
Yeah.
How is Manus better than ChatGPT?
Ma Madness is like a full on so I saw this video of like and it's because I'm always trying to figure out how to get volume off the business, right? And it had Madness, it was like 50 screens where they're like scheduling social media posting and all that shit. And then I was like, huh, huh. So I started watching some like YouTube videos about it and I sent it to one of the team members here. And I asked the dude, I was like, is this shit real? And he comes back to me, he's like, oh yeah, it's real. It's been real. So I got on Manus. I created like an account and it was basically like scheduled this you guys see how much I post on freaking LinkedIn. That stuff's all done manually by Team Asia here. So we started scheduling like a few posts. Uh that Busan video where I just uploaded my like Busan apartment tour, that was done by Manus. And once I actually saw that, because I can freaking record content like fucking Little Wayne in the studio. I will, because before we would actually have to like get it manually onto like a freaking Airtable, make sure that it was like on a certain date and all that kind of stuff. We're making more videos about that now, but we have like how to get a product manager job, what product manager should be doing after they get a freaking job, right? Cybersecurity, um, like tech sales, and then those are the three main programs, and then how to start a freaking side hustle, and then got more of my personal brand content out there. Content and curriculum wise, we can already record like no freaking tomorrow. The problem is like we have such a backlog of that shit just stuck in the Google Drive, and we're talking about now actually deploying it. Um, we no longer, I would say like within about 45 days, we can get that shit out there like much faster with Madness. Like you just include the freaking, I mean, I'm not the one doing it, but like I kind of have the idea of it and then they're executing it out. Um, like the workflows and stuff, like we want to get it on like LinkedIn, we want to get it on school, we want to get it like on all these different platforms. Um, we already started playing around with Manus and it's like it's getting done. Because some people like to see short form video, some people like to see long form video, some people like to see posts. Um, yeah, it's less of a manual process now. And like it's not perfect yet, but I feel like in 45 days we can fully automate it.
Wait, what does Manus do? It creates the reels for you?
No. It basically automates manual workflows. I mean, I personally can't do it, but I do
Oh,
ask my team, like, can we
interesting.
do this? And then they're figuring it out.
I'm still on the waiting list. Where did you get that access code?
From this dude that's actually from, well, from this dude that's actually like he's a Chinese national, but he's actually based here in Korea. That's like I guess he's like a digital nomad like myself. So just free roaming. Yeah. I've met actually, I would say probably the most interesting people. I always kind of shun the word digital nomad, but I've actually met some of the most interesting people in my digital nomad journey. Like I spent 6 years in New York. Susan knows me from like my party days there, and it's just after paying such high amount of money for rent, I was like, yo, I'm just getting out of here. And then now it's just like
How much was your rent in New York? In the Eugene?
in the Eugene,
Yes.
the
6K.
legendary bachelor pad, that one bedroom was 6 G's a month. That was before
Wow.
Wi-Fi. But did you remember my
Wow.
rooftop?
Yeah.
That rooftop, one word was irresistible. That rooftop was the ultimate flex.
With the
Um,
basketball court?
with the basketball court. I would say
Yeah.
mostly people really pay for like the network because
Oh.
all the Chinese and Korean finance fuck bros were all there. BlackRock was right across the
Oh.
street. So if you're talking about getting stock tips, it's like
Oh,
it's
okay.
there. Like by that that like well at one point 236% gain on Palantir that came from Eugene. Now it's just down to like 114% gain, but I would say it's still doing pretty good. Well, like yeah, like
Oh,
I would say
wow.
it's just like the network of like the people that you get to go ahead and meet, but like that was a ridiculous amount. I was only gonna do that for like 1 year max anyways, but I felt like I learned.
Wow.
Yeah, I
That's
felt like I
awesome.
learned.
You did it.
I know. I felt like I learned a lot from like um because if you're in there, you're printing cash, right? So
Right.
let's forget about the crazy rich Asians that are there where they're just like getting a freaking check sent fresh to them like Uber Eats every single week from mom and dad back home in Asia. But like
Uh,
the people that like come to New York and they make it there, those I think were like the most interesting people because like you'll basically just see everybody's kind of like hustle of what they do to go ahead and make money. And like I
hmm
feel like I learned so much more from that than like buying an online course. Um
Really?
yeah.
They're the ones creating the online courses.
I met a guy that was making about like he was working in finance too, but he was clearing about 13K average minimum lowest a month just selling MBA study guides to Chinese students. Like fully, yeah, like
Oh, wow.
he had like a deck of like flashcards that you need to know for like the GMAT exam, and then he had like the English and Chinese. He digitized it onto like a flashcard app, and he sold that shit, right? And like
Wow.
what they would ask in like the interviews, and then like the rooftop was a co-working space, so I saw him host shit there. So when him and his wife had a kid, they're just like they just needed to make like extra money because they're like us working more hours isn't gonna really help out. And they didn't really want to work anymore.
Yeah.
I saw that shit and I was like, oh, like, huh, I didn't even know like people would buy that. But he's like average like MBA study, like GMAT prep is like 10K. They charge more, like they told me in China, to get them ready here. So they would just host like online course. Um, that was kind
Oh,
of like my
wow.
lowest month is like 13K. I was like, what's your highest month? And he's like 40 something. But it is
Just
kind
from
of
his side hustle on top
yeah.
of his
Yeah,
finance, corporate, whatever.
right.
Interesting.
So you see like those videos where like the guy he's like in all these like it's like the school I think it's called School of Hard Knocks, and he'll just walk up to a Ferrari and be like, "Hey, like, can I ask you like you drive a really nice car. What do you do for a living?" Like I felt like
Yeah.
that for like a year just living in the Eugene. So I
Oh,
felt like that.
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But overall, like paying $6,000 to park my dead body in there, like no, not really. It's not worthwhile value for
It's
And
not worth it.
I feel like there's also a bit of formula there. I'm seeing the pattern of that more and more often, especially moving back to Hong Kong. You prep yourself up, get yourself a very nice condo, show off what you have for real, and then the Asians will follow you because they want what they can have, or they're very curious at the other side of the world, how people live. And then you establish some credibility. Maybe you're someone with MBA or someone who has worked for a tech company from the state or whatever, something that your niche. And then you just kind of blast, and then people actually reach out, and you can build some sort of audience. If content is your thing, people actually hustle around that, and they make a tons of money on that too.
Yeah, people are always willing to go ahead and buy knowledge. Like my cousin has like in LA, I think he has like up to like 6 Yoshinoyas now. And yeah, he has 6 Yoshinoyas like in LA and Orange County. And I was like, yo, and I was like, my mom was like, yeah, he's doing very, very well. He has like the system locked down. And I was like, yo, let's meet up. And he's like, you have $500,000 ready to go? And I was like, I mean, not for Yoshinoya. And he was like, all right, here's a PDF. But because like you get so many people that like hit you up for like a coffee chat, and it's just like you give all this information, it doesn't even really go anywhere, and it's kind of a waste of your time. And then like he's like, yeah, he's like, if we can meet up, but we're not talking about Yoshinoya, we're meeting up. Because he's like, it's like all I take a look at is just like beef bowls and chicken bowls, right? So he's like, the last thing I want to talk about is a beef bowl and chicken bowl, and I'm off for. So he's like, if you want to shoot the shit, we can, but we're not talking about Yoshinoya. Yeah. So people love saving time. People love like not having to. I mean, I grinded for 8 years for Product Gym to get to where it is right now. I mean, Susan, you know me from like when I met Susan here through my old roommate, this other Korean dude in like New York. Like, I would pay legit knowledge to like definitely shorten down the freaking learning curve of like all the mistakes of like of all the things that we should have avoided, but like you never know until you figure it out. But if somebody else
Yeah,
like
no, it's
yeah,
true.
like a lot of the other Asian American career coaches or like tech recruiters that want to get into the boot camp game, they will go ahead and like offer me like, dinner and drinks and stuff. I'm like, no. Like if you want my knowledge on it, you can just Venmo over like $1,000 an hour. Or you can go out there and just figure it out yourself. Like if you want to just shoot the shit, that's fine.
Mm,
You can go through the next 8 years and figure that part out.
ugh, yeah. 8 years is a long time compared to like a boot camp that you could do in whatever, 3 months or 6 months.
Eight years is a long time, but it also went by like that. Because I
Mm,
still remember like the days when we are just eating noodles. But like yeah,
yeah.
8 years is like
Mm.
long and fast, you know. So Eva, can we ask you like what are kind of like the next steps in the plan for Hong Kong? Because I've actually not met too many. I met a lot of like digital marketing people, but not met too many product managers that have successfully gotten like the foothold into Asia yet.
Yeah, actually, the community is pretty small. I've been trying to connect with more product people, and it's a very tight community. So I love to connect with more people. I guess what's the next step? Um, just I have a passion. I know, Richard, you said product management or leadership is non-existent in Hong Kong, but I do have a passion kind of bringing my experience from overseas back to Hong Kong because I saw a lot of good talents in Hong Kong. They're very resilient. They grind crazy. It's not their own business. They have to grind. I guess it's a part of the culture. I just
Asian
kind of
culture.
exactly, but sometimes it's counterproductive, right? They just have to sit there because their manager or bosses haven't left yet. I really
They do
don't
that in
get
Hong
that.
Kong too?
They do. I don't. I'm surprised I'm still not fired yet. You sit there, you're not productive. Just get home, right? Just go home and like finish your work the next day, or don't pretend that you're doing something. It doesn't actually add anything to the company, but I think here people care a lot about your input, not so much about the outcome. I mean, it's a big cliche, but they do grind a lot of hours. But when I look at the outcome, it's not actually that much or more in comparison, with maybe a North American team, because it's more systematic versus here it's very chaotic. It's just like very reactive, grinding all the time. But that's kind of what I see. So my passion is actually try to contribute to the community here, bring in more, I guess, the overseas experience, and also maybe create an environment just for people to talk about things, just kind of like this space, because here, where Richard kept swearing in this podcast, but that's not something we do here, right? Not that we need to swear, but I just want to create an open environment where they can have that dialogue, and I feel like that's a bit lacking, or maybe they just don't have time. Maybe all the product managers are grinding at night. That's why they don't come out to events and stuff. That's something I've always wanted to do. That's why I've been trying to have coffee chats, reach out to people, and then reach out to you, Richard. That's kind of the thing I really want to contribute in Hong Kong while I'm here. Well, the next thing is always open for different opportunities or hear what people are doing. One thing I noticed in Hong Kong is very interesting is that people always have side hustles, like
Oh.
crazy amount of side hustle, whether it's businesses or maybe doing Pilates or yoga. They grind like so hard on weekdays, but they still find time to do, to have hobbies like this way more than when I was in Vancouver. We get off at like what, 5 o'clock, right? Never schedule a meeting with me at 4 p.m. kind of thing. But here we grind till like 7, 8, and they still go to Pilates and like get up the next day. It's crazy. I really respect that. Maybe they're used to it, the culture, or maybe we're doing it together so that it felt possible. So that's why I think people here are really resilient and with
Mm.
a lot of good talent. So I was trying to figure out, how we can integrate everything in that community. It's pretty interesting.
I mean, I guess people kind of have to, because when I was in Hong Kong for about a month and a half, I like some of the places were New York prices.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
like I
I
feel like it's
heard,
actually more
yeah.
expensive to live in Hong Kong than it actually was in New York, because
No, that I don't.
No, it depends
I don't.
where.
I don't think so.
have you been,
No.
Susan?
N no, but I feel like New York is just so fast paced. You have so many options in a day. You could do like 25 things in one day. I'm sure in Hong Kong as well, but I think the market is bigger in New York. So the variety of options is like I think you could spend I think New York is more expensive because of that.
Well, you definitely got more options in New York, but you also have a lot less real estate in Hong Kong. And
Oh,
they
I see.
definitely,
So it's the real estate that's expensive in Hong Kong.
I mean, gosh, it's
Yes,
like,
and that makes
yeah,
everything else expensive, including
yeah.
shopping, eating out. Eating out, you're paying for their rent, right? Essentially, not the ingredients of your
Oh,
dish.
maybe it's like Switzerland. Switzerland is dumb expensive, but the country is boring, so you don't do many things
Yeah.
in compared to New York. New York is so like there's so many temptations, like, and you could go in so many different ways.
All right. What
That's
would be
my
like,
hot take.
huh? Hot
Mhm.
take? What
I
would
don't
be
know.
like, what would be like the dream outcome, like for your, like, I don't know, like a bunch of product managers that have like that there's like a community where they're exchanging like options, opportunities, like what's kind of like the end
Well, I don't know
ideally.
if I get to see an end, but I would love to be part of the journey. It would be cool to kind of put Hong Kong as a place where you actually have internationally known tech company. If I ask you, do you know any known tech company from Hong Kong? Probably not. I don't expect people to say anything because when I came back, I was like, I don't know. Are we famous for that, or do we have any? So I just kind of want to contribute to that. But of course, I'm just one person, right? I'm not going to be able to flip the ecosystem around. That's why, contributing little by little, and that's part of the journey. And that's
I
for
actually
like
have
New
a
York or.
question.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
No, I actually really have a question about like, because I know Hong Kong it's near that other part in China that's also really known for Shenzhen or something, or like the technology
Yeah,
hub of China. Like,
yeah.
do you focus more on the demographics, like your customer base? Is it more global or is it more Chinese, like
Right
demographic?
now, I mean, Hong Kong still position itself as an international city, but it kind of acts as a bridge working towards Greater China. So Shenzhen, they actually have a lot of tech talents as well. But again, the ecosystem, the culture are completely different. So Hong Kong's kind of acting as the bridge, as Greater China, international, overseas. Yeah.
I felt like Hong Kong was still pretty international when I was like there. Like most of my neighbors were like,
Depends where you live, right?
well, that's very true. I didn't go. I have not been north of like TST.
Oh,
Yeah, nor um, yeah, but like but most of my neighbors that were like running around and stuff, I saw like a bunch of people from like the UK and France. I actually saw probably more French people there than I did
yeah.
in New York, even though I'm pretty sure there's a French community somewhere in like Manhattan.
Yeah, we still have a lot of expats. It's just also a lot of them left, and also a lot of them moved to UK, Canada, US in the past decade. But when people leave, there are new group of people coming in, right? Yeah, but of course the politics and the dynamics are making it tougher for Hong Kong to be international, but the infrastructure has been here for so long. It's not going to be gone overnight. But I think, well, I don't know if I can talk a lot about this, but um, it's definitely still try to position as an international city, but we gotta follow also the policy from Greater China, right?
Mm. I thoroughly enjoyed my time there. If I was 10 years younger, I definitely would have spent more time there. But like
Yeah. In Greater China or in Hong Kong?
uh in Hong Kong.
In Hong Kong.
I don't think I would I don't know. I mean, I was very impressed by like the infrastructure and everything. So one of my best friends from New York, she was originally from Hong Kong. She's based there now. So I go ahead and I hang with her a little bit. Um yeah, overall like that was not the impression I was expecting from China. Like everything was freaking brand spanking new, very shiny. Very, very shiny. Um, but like yeah. And then you go in there and it's just like, oh, I can't use Instagram. We had an article. It's pretty interesting. We had an article printed on USA Today, and I couldn't pop that open. But um, my mom's side of the family is like, I have a good amount of like family members in Hong Kong, and it'll always feel like home. I was there for a month and a half. Another group of people came through in March, and then I flew back in there just for like a weekend. Feels very homey to me. So
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah,
be
that you should
yeah.
also go visit Greater China. It's actually um it's changed quite a lot, very modernized. When you go to the hotel, there's like robots delivering food to you. Everything's so convenient. The food delivery is like $2 renminbi, which is like what, 30 cents USD or something. Like super cheap, so convenient. You can hire people to drive for you when you like go out and drink so that you don't have like park your car overnight. It's so convenient. And things are pretty grand. You can like spend what 100 USD and you can get very, very nice hotel. That's something I can never get in Canada, right? We'll probably live in a cabin with what 100 USD type of Airbnb. But in China you get like all great services. Definitely a different kind of experience.
You think I can get in there now with a US passport? I feel like so scared with tensions being this high. Like they had I have another really good friend in Beijing. Like her husband works for the government. Um, I also don't know what government job, you know, allows you to buy, one city apartment, one country house, and have two investment properties. But I need to get in on that. But I feel so scared like going in there right now. I would, considering I'm so much closer to Beijing than I am to Hong Kong. I mean, I would love to get in there. But I think for like US at best, we can only stay like 144 days without 144 hours without like visa.
Oh, that I didn't know.
Uh,
140. This you can
ah,
get in a few days and then a quick trip.
love to do that. Oh my gosh. Well, we're almost coming up here on time. Any last words of wisdom to go ahead and wrap this bad boy up? Susan, you look well medicated. How's your ACL feeling?
No, I'm not on any medication anymore, but it's just there's like waves where you just get so tired.
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone has had sustained an injury before. So I went skiing about a month ago and I tore my ACL 90%.
Ooh.
And I opted for non-surgery. I got stem cell uh I got the stem cell procedure, but I don't know, it's like randomly throughout the day, like I'll just get hit with waves of fatigue.
Oh
So it's
my
time to sleep soon.
God. Oh, that sounds so
Rest up.
painful, ACL.
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds so painful.
You still wake up at 3 a.m.?
No, no, my life has completely changed. I go to sleep at like 11 or 12 or I don't know, like randomly, but I sleep later and then I wake up at around 7 now.
Still, yeah. But it's not 3 a.m. anymore.
No more 3 a.m. No.
Um, that sucks.
Oh my God. Oh,
Well,
that sounds so painful. That sounds so
yeah,
painful.
Yeah.
Oh,
hoping for
Wait,
a even
Sean,
quicker recovery.
Sean, is your back okay? Did you go to the doctor?
Um, so the doctor should have a copy of my MRI results. I haven't seen them this week yet, but we'll see. I still can't throw a kick or can't do any contact sports, so I don't know. I don't know what the results are.
everybody's getting injured these days, huh? It's time to get it
Yeah.
over
Yeah,
with.
Yeah, it's
yeah.
the trend.
Oh,
But yeah, Susan, feel better ASAP.
Oh,
Yeah,
thank
better
you.
ASAP.
sounds painful.
Yeah.
Feel better
Sorry, I'm out
ASAP.
of it.
No,
Oh.
you're a trooper for like making it on.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm feeling so energetic living by the water right now.
Oh, that's
Like,
good. Yeah, the water is healing,
oh gosh.
calming.
Uh,
Well, how are the people in Busan reacting to the current events? Because I think from what you told me that it's a pretty international scene, so just trying to see what their reactions like.
I mean, this is a tourist city, right? So they depend heavily on tourism. I mean, China's like
Mm,
has been number one customer. So if the Chinese tourists stop coming in, these little mom and pop shops, they get freaking washed out.
Mm.
Which is why I'm not surprised. Like last week, there's $342 million worth of cocaine that was seized at a port in Korea. So,
What? There's
yeah,
cocaine in Korea? That's
yeah. Like
crazy.
I was like,
That's
I'm pretty sure this
impossible.
one kid that was probably like, "Yo."
Wow. Don't you think Busan is like LA?
Sounds more like Miami.
Oh,
Like,
Miami,
I don't know. I mean,
Miami.
that's kind of like, yeah, the other reason why I kind of like, I was like, maybe Hong Kong and Seoul is like not it, because I'm only really trading like city for city, right? Like, it just feels like I feel like Seoul and New York, I just and Seoul is just like the time is just like, I constantly feel like I'm playing like Squid Game, where it's just like I'm looking at the clock, I'm looking at the clock. It's like here, it's just like freaking, right behind me. I'm just like, like, oh shit,
Wow.
it's still
Right.
10:15. Like,
That's
you know,
LA. In
like,
LA, it's like the time goes by so slow.
oh yeah, my team and I, we start drinking at like freaking like 1:15 here, and she's just like, like there's no like like Hong Kong. I feel like if I'm meeting somebody for dinner, I feel like, oh my gosh, I gotta like rush and I gotta fight somebody onto like the freaking like the train, and then like if I gotta take a taxi, I'm like, why is there traffic? It's like, duh, you freaking live in Central, like so it always feels like some degree of like stuckness. And I was like, yo, this is like what burned me out in New York. There's
Oh,
never really traffic
wow.
here. So if I choose to take the train, I'm just like feeling like I'm strolling on there. Like there's people on it. Uh um That's the other thing about Hong Kong is when the people don't like you, they freaking let you know. Like straight up, I don't give a shit where you're from.
Um,
Like I had my backpack. There was this, I forgot what was the name of the co-working space, but they had a meet up, and then I had a backpack, so I was thinking about like working there for the day. I got a day pass, and then I was gonna show up there for the meetup later, so I had a little bit more of my shit. And then when I was on the way home, but I'm used to so much working from home that like I was like, I was like, damn. I put that thing on the floor for like a second, backpack rolled and it hit some guy, and he freaking let me know in the most poetic Cantonese profanity, like you should not have let your backpack mobile. Like it is your responsibility to be accountable for your backpack not hitting anybody else. Like, damn. Yeah, so that was a fun experience. Yeah. So
I
like
didn't
yeah,
know you
like
were
here,
burnt
yeah.
out.
Here it's just like it's chill. You walk down the rest you walk I walk down the street here. I feel like I'm just like walking to the beach and then I'm walking back, right? And it's just like what I want to eat for lunch. But I've always really liked beach cities. Um, yeah, minus
Do
the
you
homeless.
feel like you're more productive?
I do because like um I mean
Mad
yeah.
sus.
I
I
mean, minus
do.
the alcohol, like I, yeah. I mean, I would say my workload doesn't change, but it's
Oh, you're
also,
used to it. You're used to
yeah,
it.
it also feels like, what am I working for? New York, as a guy, if you're dating, you're 10 G's out the freaking out. 10 G's goes out the door in a month, you know, like that's light work, and then there's some other crazy rich Asian guy that's like easily doubling that, putting up Steph Curry numbers, like um Hong Kong was definitely, I would say, Hong Kong dating scene was freaking interesting. If I was like that was interesting. But like yeah, like compare that to like now, it's just Hmm. I feel more productive. There's less of a need to go out there and like I think flex on the status here. I feel like there was a lot more of that living in a bigger city, and like people I think are way more down to earth. Uh uh
Interesting.
yeah, like I feel like when you're the people that I did meet, well, it could have just been like the people that I met in Hong Kong. I met both, but like I feel like status is like a very big thing in Hong Kong. Like
Yeah. One
who
interesting experience I have is, I ride a subway called MTR at a station quite remote, called a station called Lohas at the far east side, suburb-ish. And then at the station, I saw this in the morning at work. I saw these ladies with like branded bags, Hermes, like, but we at Subway, so everyone owns, one of those. It's quite interesting. So they grind really hard, they work really like long hours to I guess get items that reflect their status. Even my PT, my personal trainer, has like different fancy watches every day.
That's part of the marketing expense, like.
Well, I didn't sign up because he has like a fancy watch, but it was quite interesting.
Why did you sign up?
To obviously stay fit, right? And force myself to the gym.
Yeah, I saw the other two ladies here got their eyes like opened up a little bit. You got a photo you want to flex out of the homie? I think you'd appreciate the promo. Yeah. Well, I want to thank you guys all for guys and girls for showing up. I know everybody has a busy schedule. Susan, you look like you need to go out there and hit the hay.
Because we don't pass out anytime soon.
Yeah. You look like you're ready to. You're
Oh,
ready to
yeah.
go.
I'm so sorry. I missed the
No.
past 2 weeks, and this is who I am these days.
It's okay.
You're,
I'll be there.
you're doing
I'll-
really great. I see your TikTok posts and I try to like as much as possible.
Oh, thank
No,
you.
thanks for liking all the posts.
Yeah, of course. The algorithm likes engagement.
Yeah.
Right.
They
All right,
do.
fam.
Yeah.
I gotta go ahead and run to my next call. I'll go ahead and see you guys. I'm here basically every week, same time, if you guys want to get back at it again. And then talk to you guys all soon. Thank you, Eva.
All right.
Thank
Nice
you.
meeting everyone.
Nice meeting you, Emma.
Bye.
Nice
See you,
meeting you,
Emma.
Emma. Bye.